Welcome to Jethro's Garage. So the next episode is going to be working on cleaning this garage up, and I've got a lot of footage of it, but man, it's taking a long time. So I decided we'd do something a little bit different today, and I was going to talk about my dad some. And while I'm doing that, you can see sort of a time lapse cleaning of the garage. It's not finished, and it's far from it. It may take a few months to get it, somewhat clean. But in the meantime, got my brother back here trying to get the carb right on my dad's heritage and, all that. But hey, enjoy the video, and please make sure you check out the other videos and hit that like button and subscribe. Dad was a mechanic most of his life. He did other jobs at times, drove a truck, worked in restaurants, but working on things was his gift. At 12, he rebuilt the tractor they used for their garden. At 15, he worked at a motorcycle dealership, and sometime in there, he managed to get an old Harley running. I vividly remember when I was 6 years old, Dad and my uncle built a stock car out of our one-car garage. The whole house would rumble with the engine in that car. I remember one trip to the track where they were working on getting everything lined out. Now, I'm not really sure why they stopped building the car, but the motor did go into a 64 Impala we had. I'm pretty sure I remember people trying to race us on the University Boulevard in Huntsville. It didn't help that the engine had a very healthy cam in it and a real tight converter, so it would sit there at a stoplight, and well, the tires would turn over with every time the cam hit a good lick. So Dad ended up changing out that cam before we moved to Florida. He drove that thing all the way to Florida, and I guess had it for quite some time. Dad did a lot of wheeling dealing back then, so he traded it for something before we moved back, to wherever it was we moved next. Guess it was Georgia. Through the years, most of his jobs were working on heavy equipment. Once we moved back to Alabama, Dad worked at my uncle's restaurant for a little while until he got a job at Case Tractor Shop. His first week, he was able to get a piece of equipment running that had been sitting there for years. He worked for Case there in Huntsville there for a few years. When the Birmingham shop asked for a little help, Dad went up there and worked for them for a few weeks. When he came back with a job offer and a raise, and so off we went and we moved to Birmingham. By the way, we moved around a lot when I was young. I think I went to 11 schools in the 12 years. And even at that, I managed to do my last 4 years at the same high school. So Dad worked there for at least 8 more years. While working there, Dad did work on the side, most of it out of the trunk of his car. For years, he stored his tools in the back of a van parked in the drive, and he hauled what he needed to work on people's equipment or cars. In '93, Mom and Dad moved here. This house is close to 100 years old, and the garage was just a carport back then. Over the next year or so, Dad, my uncle, and us boys helped pour the pad in the garage and put those doors on. Sometime around that time, Case sold the dealership Dad worked at, and another company took over maintenance and sales of Case tractors in that area. That was the longest Dad had worked for any company. He moved around from job to job a lot when he was younger. So he went to work for the new company, but it didn't last long. He decided to purchase a truck and went over the road. About 6 months later, I think that was about the time, they were calling Dad and asking him to come back to work. Customers were asking for him by name. It seems Dad had gained a pretty good reputation around the area for working on people's tractors. They told Dad to name his price, and his price included paying his truck payment and some good benefits and a higher pay, and they agreed. Dad was able to do that for a few more years, and I think my brother actually worked there with him a little bit until Dad's arthritis got pretty bad and he just couldn't work on it full time like that anymore. He went back to trucking, but customers even found him then, and he would do services in the front of the garage. He even did a full end frame of his '89 Freightliner with a big Cam Cummins and many other projects over the years. Dad's formal education stopped at about the 8th grade, but he was a natural. Friends and family trusted Dad for anything mechanical. Once we spent a long day and well into the morning replacing the engine in my grandpa's car with my uncle's. Dad was there for anyone that needed him. He worked harder than any person I knew. He did everything he could to make sure his family had what we needed, and till the day he passed, his only concern was his family's well-being. Some of the last words he said to me was, "Stop pushing yourself so hard, and I love you, son." Even the last week of his life, before he went to the hospital, he rebuilt the dash on a Chevrolet pickup he's got. He stayed at it right up to his last moments. Traveling back through time and my memories, remembering all the times that he helped others out, remembering all the times that we spent together, working on things, hanging out, fishing, even the phone calls just to ask him how to work on something or what he would do with this thing or that. It's bittersweet. There's a lot of things that wish I could go back and do over. There's a lot of things that I wish I could go back and fix. But in the end, what we have is done. And I've got the memories left. I was fortunate to have my dad. I was fortunate to be able to spend the time with him that I did. This past weekend was Memorial Day weekend. And I got lucky a few years back, 2014 and 2015. We ran up to Washington, D.C. from Alabama both years. One of those years we got to spend with a bunch of friends and family up there. Those memories are, written in my mind. And I doubt time could even erase those. As I continue to go through this garage, work on cleaning things up, cleaning things out, maybe finish a few projects that he started and never was able to finish, I'll remember him every step of the way. I hope a few things. One, I hope my boys have fond memories of me when I pass. And I also hope they have great memories of them with their grandpa. While you're watching this video, sit back and relax. Think about your own dad, mom, or whatever, and call them up. Go fishing. Go do a project with them. So once the sand runs out of that hourglass, ain't no getting it back. And all those things that you wish you would have done, they're just going to be wishes. They're just going to be regrets. Make sure you're doing everything you can to spend the time with your loved ones. That way you'll have no regrets in the end. I know I won't be able to call him up for help anymore. And I only hope what I've learned from him is enough. But if not, I'll make it through. He sure did. Dad, you were one of a kind. And this world isn't the same without you. I love and miss you.